Hi, I'm Derek Coates with Dormicaba. Today we're going to look at the E7900 series lock and how to build a part number. So this is a question we get quite often. There are, I believe, 17 characters in this part number. So I want to look through the guide here just to kind of point out what the details are so you would know how to build the part number. So on my screen here, we've got the E7900 lock. So at the top of the screen, you see all the different options. And if you want to make this easy, you could always print out the page and just write in the options as you go so you know what you're selecting each time. But I'm going to go through these just so you know what they are. So your part number is always going to start E79. It's the E-Plex 7900 series. So E79 is always going to be there. Your next digit here is the 2. So that's going to be there on your lock because these are all what we call Gen 2 Zigbee. So that's what we're selling now. So your next digit's going to be a 2. The next section we get to here are your different types of readers. So depending on your application, quite possibly what readers are already on site, something like that, you may want to choose or need to choose a corresponding reader for the lock so your credential works on your hardwired doors as well as your wireless doors. So we've got a lot of different options here. First one here is MyFair. That's used with our key scan side. We also have option 2, which is Prox, your standard 125 kilohertz card reader. So that's there. We've got a couple of different I-class ones. We've got the Classic and SE, and we've got the CIOS. So if you're using either of those, you can choose the reader. And the newest option we've added is the Farpoint Connect. So this is the Farpoint Smart Card, 13.56 megahertz, but it also includes the Connect BLE, so you can use mobile credentials with this. So just make this selection, and while I'm going through this, I want to discuss the pricing too. Now, price may change over time, so what you're seeing here may not be the price that we're charging at the time. Look at the most current price guide to know what the price is. But when building a part, you're going to start with your base price here, and other things are an adder. So for example, if this pricing were correct, you would have $1,116 for the base list price, and then you would have the adder for, let's say you chose the Farpoint Connect mobile credential, the reader for it. So that would add $50 to the list price of the lock. Not necessarily your cost, but the list price. So as we go down, there is a note here to point out, and I've made a video on the command cards. You can find it and watch and find the features of the cards. But there is a note here that the command cards are designed for programming each lock to join the network. You've got to order the corresponding command cards to the reader type you select. So if you select the Prox one, you've got to order the Prox command cards. If you select the Farpoint Connect, you've got to order the Farpoint Connect command cards. So just make sure you order the right ones. But back to our part number. Communication right now is going to be a 0. That's the only option you have there, so that's pretty easy. Now we get down to our function. So we've got 3 options here. We have cylindrical with privacy, or we have Mortise. So do you want just a regular cylindrical lock? The cylindrical with privacy would have that thumb turn on the back of it to turn privacy on and off. If this is like a common area door in a building, you don't want a thumb turn on it, most likely. If this were a unit door or an office door, something like that that somebody may want to turn privacy on, where maybe they can make certain cards work and certain cards not work during that time, you want to order it with that privacy thumb turn. And there is an adder for that. If it's a Mortise lock, whether it's auto deadbolt or just a standard deadbolt or no deadbolt, you would select the Mortise option here and add the appropriate upcharge for each. The different types of locking devices we have down here though, for cylindrical, option 1 or 2 are cylindrical. Please note that this lock is backset specific. So if you've got a 2 3/4 backset on your door, order option 1. If you've got 2 3/8, order option 2. If you accidentally order, say, option 1 with the 2 3/4 backset and you find out on site that it's 2 3/8, you can order just the 2 3/8 latch and swap those latches out, or just keep a couple of, there handy in your stock so you have them ready just in case. Options 6, 7, and A are our 1 1/4 faceplate mortise locks. So your mortise locks could have a 1-inch faceplate or a 1 1/4-inch faceplate. In the US and Canada, we typically see everything as 1 1/4 inch. That's the standard. You will find some places though, especially maybe an older building, something like that, military ship possibly, you might find have a 1-inch faceplate. Just make sure you know what size faceplate the door has on it for that mortise before you order it so you get the correct one. So I have 3 options under each faceplate. I have a utility no deadbolt, which means I've got no thumb turn, no deadbolt. It's just a mortise latch. That's it. That's pretty common, but we also have the options of adding the deadbolts. So option 7 and option 8 both add a deadbolt to that. So that thumb turn would actually extend the deadbolt and retract the deadbolt. My preference is A and B. These are auto deadbolt. Now, I love auto deadbolt because when the door is closed, that anti-pick gets pushed in and the deadbolt automatically throws. It's a little more secure, make sure that deadbolt's always thrown when the door is shut. It's also the only way to throw a deadbolt when you're not in that place. So if you got it on, say, an office door and you want that deadbolt extended, it's impossible to extend that deadbolt while outside the unit if you don't have auto deadbolt. So it's just a little more secure, a little bit better. So you make your choice, whatever you need for the site, but I've kind of given you some info there. Go to the next page. We have our lever options. Now, it is possible to order a different inside and outside lever. Not very common, but it's possible. We see our options here. We have some standard options and we also have some custom options. I'd say 99.9% of the time with this lock, you're going to be ordering that long return. That's your standard lever that you can actually see in the picture there at the top of the page. That's a standard commercial lever that returns back to the door. It meets fire code for return. It's just the most common option. This short return lever we see every now and then. So it comes into play sometimes when you have some kind of molding on the door, something like that that may affect that lever reaching out that far. I've seen it on places that have a window in a door. The molding around the window is just too far over for the lever and it hits it with the long lever. So you might need the short lever there just to keep from hitting some of that molding on the door. So we typically don't see that on the outside, though it is possible. But most of the time you're going to have a long lever on the inside, long lever on the outside. Also do want to point out if you're doing key override, you can only get key override in a long or short lever. Any of the custom levers do not offer a key override option. So just keep that in mind. So you're going to select your outside lever, then you're going to select your inside lever. So most of the time it's going to be L for outside, L for inside. Go down to our key override. So we've got 2 options here. If you've watched my videos, I've gone over the different override options. The K is the standard key and lever override. It's got that round cutout in the lever. Core goes inside of it. Regular old key and lever there. We ship it with a Schlage C keyway and 2 keys. The other option is what we call small format, or we like to call it best prep. Uses that small format core. The core and key do not come with the lock in that case. It's just prepped for it, but you supply your own small format core. And it's also the easiest way if you ever have an issue and need to rekey a lock. It's the absolute easiest way to rekey a lock. Just take the control key, pop that core out, pop a new one in, you're ready to go. Key and lever, you got to take the lever off, pull the core out, put a new one in, put the lever back on. It's just so much easier with small format and better key control, really. Your next option here is your handing. Now, my guide, all it's got listed here is F for the cylindrical door, dual-handed. On your mortise locks, I'm going to recommend you order either an L or an R. L for left hand, R for right hand. You can order it dual-handed if you want. However, when you order dual-handed, by default, the mortise cassette is going to be a right-handed mortise, and it's going to come with a left-hand and right-hand strike plate. That means any left-handed doors, you're going to have to rehand that mortise. See my video on rehanding a mortise, and sometimes it takes a few seconds, but you'll notice in my video, I goofed on the second time I did it, and it took me a few minutes to get it done. So to make it easier, order the correct handing. Cylindrical locks, it's so easy to rehand those that you can order dual-handed with that, no problem. Your next options here are your door monitoring. So do you want no door monitoring? Do you want it prepped for a remote release? Maybe you've got a wire running to that door so a receptionist can push a button and unlock the door. That would be your remote release prep. It's just 2 wires waiting for a short on them to tell it to unlock. You could do a door sensing input, like a door position switch. So you put a door contact in the side of the door and run into the pair of wires on the lock to give you door status. On the Mortise locks, that's actually built into the Mortise cassette itself through the anti-pick. There'll be a wire come out of the Mortise that you plug into, and it monitors the anti-pick to know if the door is open or closed. And then option 3 is you want remote release and door status both. So choose which of those options you want, add the appropriate adder for the cost. Special options down here, you have the 0 and the A. 0 is your standard, which means every door is going to be keyed differently. It comes with its own core, comes with the 2 keys for it, so they're keyed different. They're just pre-packaged, ready to ship out that way. You can order option A, which is keyed alike. So if you want your entire property keyed the same way, we do this a lot in multi-housing. You know, key all the doors the same way, just have a couple of master keys. That way, you know, you have a key if you need it, but you're really not planning to use the keys at all. It's a way to keep all of them keyed alike so you know your keys are going to work on the doors no matter what. If you do that, we do need to know the property name and address. That way we can keep track of it. So if you ever order more locks for that site, we can give you that same keyed core. Then we get down here to our finish options. So the standard you'll see with this is satin chrome. Any of my videos you've watched, I've got the satin chrome lock up here. It's the standard, it wears the best, it's the shortest lead times, easiest to get, most common. I highly recommend the satin chrome. Now, one other I like to point out is the ultra finishes, like ultra satin chrome. You say, what's the difference? Ultra satin chrome locks have an extra finish applied to them. It's a clear coat basically applied to the lock. Helps it resist corrosion and moisture better. So if you're out near the ocean, you're putting this near a pool, so you've got the chlorine in the air, stuff like that. You know, even the inside of a building near an ocean is going to get that salt water in the air. That starts to wear at the lock. So it's going to help the finish of the lock last longer. Still recommend appropriate maintenance on the lock, cleaning it, maybe a little bit of turtle wax on it to help that finish last even longer. But this helps it resist. But we also do a conformal coating on the electronics inside the lock when you order the ultra finish, so it helps those last longer. So that salt water doesn't get into that board and eat away it as quick. But there's also other finish options. So we've got bright brass and satin brass here. In my opinion, I can't stand brass. It gives an old look to the property, but hey, if you want it, we've got it. Oil rub bronze, and I'm gonna caution you on oil rub bronze. Oil rub bronze is not necessarily oil rub bronze everywhere. Everybody has their own version of it, so if you're trying to match something, just keep that in mind. You might have a slight different finish. You've got bright nickel and satin nickel. You know, looks close to satin chrome, but a little bit off. I always say nickel has almost like a purplish hue built into it. That's what my eyes see. So it's close to satin chrome, but off a little bit. Bright chrome, hey, if you want it, you want that bling, go ahead. We've also got some ultra finishes for the bright brass and the satin brass. And then you've got a dark bronze, which we even note is simulated 10B613. Same note as the oil rub bronze. Finish is not necessarily exact, so it may not exactly match what you have there. So just keep that in mind when you're doing a finish like that. Most of your commercial projects, things are just going to take that satin chrome lock. Again, it's my preference, easiest to get, lowest cost. The wear is longer than the other finishes. It's just the best way to go. So that's it for our Mortise and cylindrical locks, how to build a part number. Thank you very much.